Hey honey, what you doing?
Well, we got us a little leak here somewhere, and we had water coming out from underneath the cabinets. I took the kickboard off, and there's still a little puddle underneath of there. So I've got to find out where it's coming from. And it's not coming from the shut-off valves underneath of here. So I've got to find out where, why, and how. And there's a lot of plumbing in this wall that who knows what, where, why, or how, but we're going to find out. So this is a repairable area. I got a stud that runs up and down through here. I'm off from the sides of the studs over here. I can put a cleat in and put this sheetrock back in easier than taking all this stuff out. This is my investigation. I've got to find out what's causing that leak. So here we go. I'm going to cut this hole out and see what we find. So I've already marked it off. I'm using a little keyhole saw. I don't want to go in too deep just in case there is something in there. Right. Turn it off and we'll see what it looks like when we open it.
Hey baby, you find out the problem?
Yeah, I think so. I've had issues with a certain product that I've used in the past for sealing threads on pipe connections. And I don't know if you've ever used this stuff before, but it's a gray paste that comes in like a toothpaste tube. And it's pipe joint thread sealer. And I can show you my wet room, what's going on there. Let's go in there and I'll show you what's happening. In this room I have all my controllers for my water system, my pressure tank, my switch to run the pump. Everything's right here to where I can see what's going on with it and it's not going to be frozen. Well, as you can see here, I've got drips coming off of my piping. I initially used this gray pipe thread sealant on it, and all of my joints are leaking. And I've had to take this apart in the past, and I said, all right, well, I'll fix that. Well, with the cold temperatures and everything that's going on, we have moisture everywhere. We got moisture, and I don't know why it is. I guess that's sweat, but this other over here isn't sweat. You can't sweat that much. So that is what's happening in that leak that's on the floor. And I'll show you in there. Let's go in there. There, you can see the control valve for the shower. And so I'm not going to tear the shower out. I'm not going to take the tub, and I've got a wall that it backs up to. And thank God it's not an outside concrete block wall, or I'd have to tear all of this out. So I've got to go in next to the commode and take that loose. I'm seeing drips down here, and it's just enough. You can see it just dripped. It's just enough to where we got a wet spot underneath the floor. So any of this stuff in here that has been connected together with that gray paste has got to go. It just dripped a minute ago.
So, we have the water off. So
yeah, the water's off. There's no pressure on it, and it's still dripping. So I've got to take all that apart, and before I take it apart, I'm going to make sure I have the stuff to put it back together with, which is going to be 3 couplings. I'll cut that open on the other side, and we'll see what that looks like next. We'll get back to you in just a second.
So basically right now you're just marking off the area to cut out so you can have access to the... Yeah, I gotta
find out what's what in here. And I'm just using a level for a straight edge Not trying to plumb it or anything or get anything right. It's just a search and destroy mission right now before this water destroys a bathroom.
You mark
So that
it.
tells me that we've got a problem in our master closet, in our master shower. We got a problem in our upstairs shower, if that product was used. And I'm not sure where I transitioned from one to the other, but I went to a PTFE. It's called Blue Monster. I've never had any issues with that. I've used it on all kinds of connections, and it seals. It does what it's supposed to do. This other stuff, I'm not happy with it at all. You should never have to do and redo your stuff.
But the reason why you're using a level and all that stuff to mark it is so when you go to replace it, it won't be so hard to cut out
It's
and
just a
make
straight edge, something to follow.
We're going to pause for now.
We've got this opened up where we see what's going on here. And this is going to be a fun project because that's what it is. It's just a fun project. I've got to take everything loose on this valve and redo everything that connects to it. So I'm actually going to have to bring this out a little bit further. And there's my water leak right there. It's coming off of the valve. It's coming off of where the coming off of where all these connectors connect up with it. I've got this board in here as a back space. I think all of that's good. It's just a matter of I'm going to have to get to that. So, make up a material list. We'll go get some parts. And I'll have to make sure I got plenty of that Blue Monster, because I'm going to be using that Blue Monster put back in here. Because this gray stuff ain't going to, that ain't doing it. So, in our next video, we'll show in progress of putting it back together. I think I'm going to cut this. Let's get one screw there, one screw there, and two screws on that.
So we'll get back to you guys after we investigate and
this is gonna
start putting it together.
It's gonna be fun.
Say bye.
Bye.
What you doggies barking about? You troublemakers. You troublemakers. Tell them bye-bye, buddy. Say bye-bye. Hey, honey.
Hey. Well, here's part of the culprit. It says gray pipe joint compound. And on about the fourth line down, it says do not use on plastic threads.
Oh, my.
So, this, even though I've used it on metal threads, it leaks on metal threads. So, this is not my toolbox anymore. And you can do what you want to with it, but I'm not going to have it. What I will have to use is the Blue Monster. It's PTFE, and that'll take care of the threads. And I've got all this tore apart, ready to put back together. And I had to make this hole a little bit bigger because the fitting had been put to the valve and then it had been glued up this way. So the hole wasn't big enough to take that out. I had to chew on it for a while. So that's good to go. I just got to get some components and put this all back together again. And I think where these go back together, I might just do a union. This one here wouldn't be too bad because I can glue it this way. But this is to a dead end. I don't have room enough in here to move that pipe back and forth. So I'll put a union in here and I can tighten that up. I can glue it together and then tighten it down. So it's just a matter of getting in that tough spot. So we'll see what we can find at the hardware store and put this thing back together and stop this leak. Then I got to take a look at the rest of my applications and see if I've got to do something with them too. We have a bathroom upstairs. We have other places that the shower head, the control valves have been installed. So I've got to double check and make sure I don't have a problem there. And it won't show up now because I don't have all my valves open. I don't have water on all of my system. I just have water up to certain components, and then there's still air in the rest of this because it's basically a 3-story high house.
So lessons learned?
Yeah, read your labels on this stuff and then talk to your plumbing supply house people and the other plumbers that were there. They're the ones that turned me on to the Blue Monster. It's PTFE. It's a paste. It has fibers in it, and they say that's their go-to for everything. They'll put it on compression fittings. They'll put it on anything and everything. It's good for all your plumbing surfaces. So use it. Some of this stuff you just can't mix and match. And we've got brass and PVC. I shouldn't be having problems with brass and stainless together. But that pipe dope, that thread sealer, it just walked out of that stuff, and I've had other stuff do the same. So it's just lessons learned. Hopefully this will save somebody this kind of aggravation, because if you don't see it, if you don't catch it, your house will rot. You'll have a constant wet spot somewhere, and it's just a drip, drip, drip. It may never show up, but it'll show up sooner or later. Good luck. Bye.
Road trip. Bye, guys. Good.
Well, we got everything put back together. I put a union in here because I didn't think I had enough play. But as it was, I did have, but I put it in anyways. And I got all of these connectors that go to the control valve. All the threaded connections have been done with PTFE. They've all been sealed. The threads are what I was having problems with leaking. And brass to brass, brass to plastic. And yes, I did make a mistake and I used the improper product, and it was labeled on the product that you shouldn't use it on plastic. So I do have one other place in the house that I'll probably have to look at sometime in the near future to see if I have that type of material in there. It's just a matter of doing the same thing here. Cut a hole, look at it. If it's good, put the hole, tape it back up. It's been fun. I had issues with a couple of different things. You just have to keep plugging away at it. So once I get everything covered back up and sheetrocked over and painted, you never know it ever happened.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.